Well, hello, and welcome to our second episode of our podcast, where we're going to talk about our age obsession as a society, which I think is a very hot topic, right? And really, we want to dive into why does age define so much of our lives, right? So, like from career milestones to beauty standards to personal achievements, we're constantly measuring ourselves against arbitrary timelines. So, who sets the rules, right? Why are we so obsessed with them? So, today we're going to break down our cultural fixation on age and how to reclaim our own timelines.
That's lovely. I look forward to reclaiming. How nice. Okay, lead the way.
So I just want to say that my number, the age number that I have, does not correlate with how I feel.
Right.
I don't know how you feel, but I still feel like possibly a 20-year-old, maybe a 30-year-old.
I agree. I don't feel like a 40, well, I just turned 41, a 41-year-old mother. I don't feel that at all. Sometimes I'm like, I have a child that
Hmm.
relies on me for all things. That's
Hmm.
crazy.
Yeah, it kind of is, and I don't know what. Do you feel this obsession with age? Because I feel like once you hit 40, you're like instantly targeted with all the stuff about aging gracefully and these beauty standards. And now so many women are obsessed with looking young.
Right. Well, yes, I am as well, right? And so I also do not want to look like I'm 41 years old, even though I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I do all the things to try within my what I believe that I should do. Like I try it all. And I'm obsessed because I look in the mirror. I see myself, right? And then you look in the media and you see Lindsay Lohan showing up with a brand new face. And I love that. She's gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
But well, I thought she was just refreshed. Turns
Mm-hmm.
out $200,000 worth
Oh,
of work I saw.
really? I
And
could, yeah.
so I feel like it's thrust upon us.
So I think that it's social media, right?
Yeah.
Because when we were growing up, there was no social media, there were just magazines. And who are you going to compare yourself to? There was no Botox, there were no fillers. People weren't obsessed
People
with
got facelifts, though.
people
People,
had, but they were very expensive. And I don't think a lot of people got facelifts, maybe perhaps the one percenters.
yeah, of course.
But now it's, you can get a facelift and then you can have so many other things done to your face, where we are just obsessed with the idea of looking younger and not looking our age.
Yes, well, our age now just looks younger, you
That
know?
is true because I think we started taking care of our skin, which, by the way, sun is the devil.
Right? I like
So
SPF every day, but like I may look better than for instance like a Golden Girl from the Golden Girls era, but
they were our
still
age. The Golden Girls were our age. Do you know that?
I yes, I do know that, but nonetheless, I go to the grocery store. The checkout guy or gal is in college, and they're like, "Here you go, ma'am."
I don't like the first. I
So
feel
like,
really bad.
maybe we look younger than they did, but we're
Mhm.
still looking like we're in that part of life. I'm a ma'am now.
I have a
There's
funny
no running.
I have a funny story about that. I was actually in my 30s, and I was in Florida, and a nice gentleman, left the door open for or something, and then he said, "Thank you, ma'am," or he said, "Here you go, ma'am," and I was so offended, and I was like, "I'm not a ma'am."
Yes, that
And now I look back, and he was just trying to be a gentleman, and I felt very upset afterwards, that I went off on him.
but
But
like, what would they say if it was a girl? Like, here you go.
miss,
That's true, miss.
miss, you're
Wow.
now a ma'am.
Duh. Well, when I still lived in Brooklyn, which was like 6 years ago, a Russian lady said to her son, "Смотри эту тетю." Like I was a
Yes, look at this
tетя,
lady. Yes, look at
you
this lady.
know, and
Yes.
that hurt.
So,
I
lady,
hurt so bad.
Yeah,
but that's the reality. And you can't fight it, you can't run it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with like trying to look your best, right? Like
100%.
whatever it is that you can afford to do, you know?
I think it's a fine line. I think it's a fine line of looking your best and looking like someone else.
Well, yes, but that's also a personal choice. And yes, a
But
lot
what
of
does that
Botox.
say? But what does that say about your personal choice that you have so much, um, so many procedures done to your face that you no longer look like yourself, and that is a choice that you made? What does that say about you? How do you feel about your true self that you changed yourself completely? I don't think that's what they tend out to. That's what they set out to do. I think it just becomes an obsession where, and I think we talked about this, like, so when you're doing Botox and fillers, and then you see yourself and you see yourself with the perfect skin and everything's, done. And then when it starts sagging, you right away start stressing out that you don't look like you used to. And then it just becomes this obsession of getting back to that perfect skin.
Well, that's why I don't Botox because I know that like whatever I Botox, it's not gonna help whatever like tick I have in my brain. But I think that the girl is like, "Oh, I don't look good." Like she doesn't think she's pretty. And
Yes.
so she's doing the procedures, but like when you look at it before and after, like some are like, "Wow, okay, that's a nice change you got there." Like it, even though you're going in to look like everybody else kind of, that Los Angeles look, the LA,
I don't know. What is
like
it?
I don't mean to call out Los Angeles, I love them, but like Heidi, Heidi and
Yes.
Spencer.
Okay. So yes, yes, that's it. Yes, that's it. Everybody starts to, after a certain point, you start kind of looking the same.
But they look
Every,
cute
everybody starts to look the same. Yes, of course.
to
Everyone's
themselves. To
beautiful.
them, they look
Of
cute.
course, everyone's beautiful in their own mind, but really, the fact that you are uncomfortable in your own skin, right? And you have to continue going to get that. I think the most important thing is to really just stay true to yourself and love yourself. And yes, a little bit, a little here and there, I think is great. Everyone does it. But when it becomes to a point of, you have to continue doing this or you can't look at yourself in the mirror, what does that say?
It sounds you say that's a mental health crisis.
I think so. I think so. I think so. And also, then when you hit that point, obviously, we're talking about the extreme cases, and unfortunately, there are. I see a lot. I remember I went out, I don't know, a couple months ago, and there were these two women. They were beautiful. I mean, obviously, this was in the evening, and they were
Mhm.
absolutely beautiful. And I thought to myself, "My God, look at them! They're so beautiful, so pretty." And then I saw them up close, and they were completely fake. And I was so upset that, first of all, I was fooled, thinking like, I was like, oh my God, like, oh,
Yeah.
um, I felt fooled, but then also, like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Do you not realize that people look at you and they're like, wow, that is,
That's a really tough one because if you're like I feel bad because they're trying to look good. They're trying to look
and
better.
they do,
And
they
but
do,
even sometimes like it goes wrong and then you don't look better and you've done this procedure and it's like ruined your life. And I feel like everyone's just trying to like their best
yes,
within the circles that they're running,
yes,
and I feel bad for the girl who like gets Botox to strain out her, 11s and that she still doesn't feel good.
yes, yes,
Like you did that to feel better and you
yes,
still don't.
yes,
And then you're doing something else and you want that to make you feel better and you
that's right,
still don't feel better. Like if the point is to feel better and to feel beautiful and you do,
yes,
amazing.
yes, that's the whole point, right?
Right. But like if, it's just sad. It sucks. Like if you still don't feel better. And then that leads to a whole other conversation is that why do we just always feel bad about ourselves? you know?
Well, you know what I noticed is, if you ever look at any of the negative comments that are left, on social media, because obviously everyone comes out, everybody's got an opinion to be behind a computer screen.
Yeah.
What I noticed is like 95% of negative comments are made by women. So really, are we at war with ourselves? Like, do men really ever realize that you got Botox and that you don't have wrinkles? Like, well, a man, they don't even know when you got a haircut. Are they going to realize that you no longer have wrinkles on your forehead? Who are we doing it for?
S- I don't think guys do notice. I actually think guys are more on simple, like
Yes.
they're on the simple spectrum, where they just like you the way that you look now.
Yes.
I think I don't know, like because I look in the mirror sometimes and I see the wrinkles and I'm like,
Agreed.
like, and I'm like so sad. I'm like, who is this face? Like you have
Yes.
I have jowls. And I'm
Mm.
like, ew, like disgusting. Like I hate it.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter what like Vinny or like what men think, because like I'm unhappy to see it.
But my
But
point is, he doesn't think that. Does he even know what jowls are? Like,
no, but like also I don't know. I don't know. Like you just like don't notice, but I notice. And
but why do you notice? You notice because it's in your face.
because I look different.
But,
Like one day I woke up and I just look different.
yes, but if you would accept it as a normal part of aging, it wouldn't be an issue, which I'm saying back in the day before all these standards and all these
I
procedures
know.
were shoved down our throats, it was just normal and that's just how you were.
I know. I wish we could go back to that time. I really wish we could go back in time to like the time before social media, before like iPhones. It was a much simpler time because like now I go on the Peloton, right? Like all the trainers are so hot, they're so gorgeous.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh God, okay. Okay, Jess Sims, let's do this, like
Mhm.
um I don't know. It's just very hard because it's everywhere. But a lot of women do the Botox but they are happy. They're like, oh look, I look cute, and they upkeep and I love that for them.
Yes, I mean, whatever you can do to, again, to feel best about yourself,
Yeah.
I'm all about it. But if it still doesn't work, then that's a
That's a
problem.
deeper issue.
That's a deeper issue. How about all the filters on photos?
Oh my God, there's some filters. I'm like, I look absolutely stunning.
It's crazy.
Stunning. I'm gorgeous. I'm like, oh my God,
There
gorgeous.
are some women
And then
that
I turn it off
always
and I'm
use
like,
those filters on every single photo.
I mean, it just like, but like, then you have to look at the real you. Like,
And I honestly think that that's more of an issue, right? Because you are very clearly putting yourself out there as not what you look like at all, at least in the point of Botox and the filler and all that stuff. That's just how
yeah.
you are. Every day,
So,
that's how you are. But with the filter, you are very much presenting an augmented version of you to people. And imagine dating in that. I feel bad for men.
I mean, I think guys and girls do the same thing with that online because
Men also use filters?
yeah, like I'm sure they do. Like I'm sure that like people who lie are going to use filters. People who want to like look better than they actually do. I think men do. I would. Not like all guys.
Men don't even know what photographs to look good in.
I feel like I don't know. It's easy. Like I'm sure dating apps now have like filters included.
I mean, I could tell you this, and this is why I'm saying it. This is why I'm saying this is because I was online dating, right, before I met my husband. And a lot of guys just didn't put up good pictures. And that's because they just didn't know. Again, they're not like us. They're just like, okay, great. Here's a picture of me in a suit. Here's a picture of me out. And here's a picture of me out. I
How long
upload
was No, I agree with that. A certain guy is going to do that, but how long ago was that?
10 years ago.
Right, like it like now with
I need to
AI and
do,
all these
we,
things,
we need to do a
a
survey.
survey.
And when we're going to post this, I am dying to have a survey to see how many men would actually, because, yeah, this is fascinating. You're going to blow my mind if this is really in fact happening, that men are now using filters.
I think it's just easy peasy lemon squeezy. Like it's the access is there, and if you can use something to like look better, it's like an Instagram. It's but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know
I
the single world.
I don't know. I don't know,
I
but
don't even know what
it's fascinating. It's
we
definitely
could just
fascinating.
like for experimental reasons just sign on to a dating site just to see their pictures.
Yeah, but how would you know that they're filtered?
You
You
would
mean
just
like,
know, just like a girl's filtered.
oh, you mean like, oh yeah, okay.
Okay, that's dangerous, but like forget to babe, why do you got Tinder on your phone?
We can reach out. I have a couple of single cousins that I can reach
Yeah.
out to, and we're gonna do an experiment. Uh,
So, but like one time I face-tuned myself. I took a picture of myself for my website
yes,
and I face-tuned myself to
yes,
look better
yes,
than I do.
yes,
And beautiful.
yes.
I wish I could just like look
But
like that all the time.
is that not the same? So what you did was probably the same as what a graphic designer or a photographer would do to a
Yeah.
photo. It's exactly the same thing. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about
But I changed my
changing your
face.
facial structure.
No, like
Like,
no, no, no. I looked like 10 versions better than my regular self. Like I looked like Hollywood Diana on my picture. Like I would need an expert like a makeup artist to make me look
okay,
like anything
right,
like that picture. And it
sure,
wasn't me. Like
right,
I show up, I'm like, hey,
yes,
I'm the
yes.
picture. Yeah. That's me. I promise.
Psych.
Exactly, psych. Psych.
Yeah. I mean,
It's just the world we live in and it sucks. And we all wish we could go back in time. And the beauty standards and like men just get better with age.
I hate it.
It's so annoying.
I hate
It's disgusting.
we spend how much money we spend on keeping our hair not showing any grays while men just let it go.
I spent a lot of money and I have dark hair and it was very stupid. But yes, a lot.
But again, who are we doing it for? If we all just collectively say, screw it, I'm
I'm
tired
actually
of
doing
spending
it.
money on it, and we feel like we're beautiful enough. Will the men care? No, I don't think they will care at all if we're gray. Again, I think that most of the issues that we are facing as women, we put them out ourselves.
Yeah.
Like the gray hair, I don't think it matters.
Well, I was living with gray hair, and then I had a female friend who said, "Oh, I see you're living your life with gray hair." And then I'm
You
like,
see?
"Not anymore."
Wasn't a man. So when you colored it, did Vinny say anything?
Not really.
Mm. You should ask him if he noticed.
I feel like with my husband, he doesn't really care about that as long as I'm happy and I'm like, if I feel confident with the gray hair, I'm like, this is what it is, then
Right.
that's what it is. But if I'm like, oh, my gray hairs, but
Yes.
also like I started to not like it. It was like unruly,
That's
it wasn't like
fine.
well done. So, but I'm
That's
also a product of advertising and like
yes.
Hollywood standards.
Yes.
And so that's the life by which I look to. I'm like thinking you either look like Demi Moore or you're like, you know
Well,
what I mean? Like the
that's a
height of,
different issue, but that's a different issue, right? So it goes back to he's going to, as long as you're happy, he's going to be fine and he's happy. But it was a woman that said something to you. It was
yeah,
another
but like a man
man
wouldn't say something like a man out like,
because they don't care. Because they don't care. Because to them, it's just, you know,
yeah, I guess.
I don't know. It's just it's interesting. I always think about that. Like we should really spend more time uplifting one another versus cutting each other down, whether we understand that we're doing it or not.
Well, that's female and female violence, you know? Women are like, before you're like, oh, I don't dress for men, you dress for other women,
Yeah.
right? You want the girl to be like, oh, cute outfit. If we dressed for men, like, that's easy. Like, you're just wearing like something itty bitty. Like, if that, but if you're putting together an outfit
Yes.
and you're trying to like look your very best, you want another woman to notice,
Do
I
you?
feel.
I don't care. I
Like,
do it.
like, I don't know, back in the day, that's how I found like, oh, I don't dress for men, I dress for other women,
You don't dress for yourself?
I mean, yeah, I have to like how I'm dressed.
I feel completely
L-
different when I
Like,
dress up.
for instance, like things that are in style are not, I don't think men typically like. Not now we're talking about like what men like, but do you know what I mean? There's just a way to dress that like, oh, your guy thinks you look great. Like a
Hmm.
pantsuit, you
Do
know?
they like that?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, yeah. But actually, I don't know. It's sexy. It's different.
That's what ladies think.
So men don't like women in pantsuits.
I don't know about men. I know some
That's going to
guys
be
do.
another. That's going to be another questionnaire question.
It's, like it's giving Hillary Clinton. No, I'm joking. There's like so many cute pantsuits out there. I
They
can't believe I'm
are.
generalizing now. I'm generalizing. Also, I'm not a man. I don't know. I could only like ask what Vinny likes, but I don't know
Hmm.
like men
Hmm. No,
collectively.
no.
But I know that all men like boobies and butt.
We're going to send it in our girls group, and we're going to
Or
have the girls ask their husbands what they think about women in suits, and we're gonna post because I think it's fascinating. I think it would be interesting to find out for us to know. Hmm. But on another note, we spent all this time talking about beauty, right? But it's also when you reach a certain age, I feel like that's when a career comes into play, and you now start comparing yourself to others that are perhaps in different positions in their life.
yeah,
And then comparing is the worst form of what is it, comparing the
comparison is the thief of joy.
yes, comparison is the thief of joy. That's right. That's right.
Right.
And the stigma of the career changes later on, and people really being scared about launching something or doing something new when they become older, which I think is shows that they didn't do their research. Because if you look up the statistics, I think most of people that formed their first company were like in their 40s or 50s. Like a lot of the millionaires. I mean, granted, now there are a lot of crypto millionaires in their teen years.
Right. Right.
But back in the day, a lot of these um, people that have founded these incredible companies were in their 40s or 50s.
Yeah, you lived a life, you raised your kids, you have the time, you have the capital.
I don't, yes, but I also think it's that age where you just don't give a fuck. And you say, you know what, I'm confident enough and I'm going to do this. And perhaps it does take everything that you said for you to feel confident because you got that out of the way.
Yeah. I think it's great to start new things in your 40s and your 50s. It's like part 2, like take 2.
Well, because this is the middle age.
It is middle age, but you like know different things and like I'm around a lot of like 20-year-olds, like
Mm-hmm.
service providers who are
Uh huh.
like 20s and like very early 20s, late teens. It's a college town and they're different and they really haven't lived their life yet.
Mm-hmm.
They got 20, I got 20 years on these kids, right?
Oh my God. It's
Crazy.
crazy to think about. Oh,
And they just haven't experienced life. Like they are in their experiencing life part of their life,
yes.
you
Yes.
know?
Yes.
And I feel like in 40s, you've learned, you're still learning, of course, you're always learning, but you just have like a lot of knowledge to take forth. Like there's just like a little like wisdom that comes. You've lived life, and especially when you're 50, you lived your 40s. You
Mm-hmm.
learn so much in your 40s,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yes. Yes. I mean, look at us. right? We started a podcast at 40 plus.
Yes, and let me tell you, like when when I'm on the back end trying to learn Riverside and figuring it out, I do feel my age because I know for sure if I just like showed my 6-year-old, she's like, "Mommy, this is how you do it." Like
Hmm. Hmm.
without a doubt, like she would just get it, you know?
Hmm.
So that's like there is value in the youth. They do things, they do catch on to this quicker. But look at us.
Well, it's just a part of them. Like, even with Maxwell with an iPad or phone, he somehow was able to figure it out.
She
And I don't
figured
know, if we were that age when it came out, I think we would be the same.
exactly, exactly. Like
But I can guarantee you that when they are our age, they will be the same way because technology is going to be so much more
I
advanced that they'll
know.
be behind.
I'm like trying, like my thing, I try so hard to just like catch up to know everything. And I feel like, how do you use this remote control?
Oh,
like,
God.
like, you're
Oh,
pressing the button too hard.
yes. God.
So I
It's
do
so
feel
bad.
my age
Yes.
there. It
Yes.
is harder to figure things out
Yes.
on the, I have to watch YouTube videos several times. But hey, we're doing it. You gotta live, you gotta learn, you gotta keep doing it. You gotta try to keep I'm still gonna like try to know in my face to try to look like I'm
Oh, yeah.
39.
Oh, yeah. And
Or
again, key is to whoever's listening, key is sunblock. Sunblock, 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 sunblock. All day, every day, make sure to put it on the back of your hands.
I
Very
got a lot of
important.
wrinkles when I moved to Florida, a lot of fine lines.
Yes, because you don't realize because you have to reapply.
Yeah, no, I have to like wear a hat out. Like
Yes.
I like have to protect,
And when you're
like I look.
driving, it's very important. When you're driving, you don't realize that the sun hits you. And again, it hits your hands. So always make sure to wear sunblock. When I found that out back in the day when I was in school, what was it, like 10 years ago, I realized sun is the enemy, it's the devil. And now when I go, I don't even go tanning ever. Like if I'm on the beach, I am under an umbrella
Yeah.
because you don't need that. That's sun is not your friend.
I used to like tan in a booth,
Hmm.
but I was in my 20s and that's what the 20s are for.
That's what
It's actually getting
it.
skin cancer.
Mistakes were made.
Mistakes were made. I was like orange, full on orange. I was like the color of your wall from the tanning booth.
Ah,
So it's okay. You live, you learn. Now
yes.
I'm like, no, son.
No, no, sun is the devil. Well, I think, is there anything else you wanted to add?
Let's see. I did a lot of research about the youth, actually, girls, age 11, 12, how they
Hmm.
feel on social media. They are a depressed bunch. And we have to care about our young children who are, seeing fake images on the internet and like
Yes.
internalizing that.
Yes.
So I'm gonna try for my daughter, to help her feel beautiful.
Yes.
And so even if I pass a mirror, I'm like, oh my God, you're 41. Like I'm gonna be like, mommy thinks she's beautiful. Mommy's
Yes.
beautiful.
Yes. And
Uh,
I always tell her the same, and I always make sure to say, but what makes you beautiful is not what's on the outside.
yeah,
What
that's
makes
true.
what makes you beautiful is how you are on the inside.
That's true. That's actually the truest thing ever.
Yes, because they need to remember that. Because again, looks come and go. If you are a nasty person on the inside, no matter how much
True.
stuff you do to your face, people will know.
Very
And on
true.
that, perhaps we leave them with a final thought, and that is that age is truly a number, like we said, right? I don't feel my age. But the way we treat it is what gives us power.
Yep.
So instead of letting it define what we can or can't do, we should really focus on growth, passion, and purpose at every stage of life. So, where in your life were you held back by your age? How can you challenge that belief? So, that is something that we leave you with. And we hope you enjoyed our second episode of our podcast. And tune in for next week.
Tune in. Bye.